Hey, how's it going? It's Uznik Zaboldi. I have you two games. One is ST1 or STI, however you want to say it, on Abbey Night. This right here is a really interesting game because in this game there's only two tier 9s. The rest are tier 8s and 7s with a few scouts. But anyways, I had to do a double take there just to make sure. So the moment you realize that you're top tier, especially when you're the only heavy tank in the game that is top tier, you might want to use your armor to your advantage. However, my ST is not upgraded whatsoever. I've only got like 3000 XP when I started playing this game here. So I just go ahead and head up the eastern flank, straight up all, next to the water, and hopefully I don't run into their big tank destroyer, because that would give me some trouble. All the other guns on the enemy team not so good, especially if you angle the armor just right. And right here I got spotted, and I'm thinking the enemy's tank destroyer was looking at me, but apparently it was something lesser. He shot premium at me and it bounced off the front cheek of the tank. Now right here, this tiger's taking some damage from the middle of the map, so I go ahead and move on forward, try to spot out something up there, which is kind of odd that I have a larger view range than the tiger. That's pretty amazing that a Russian tank can outspot a German. Anyways, we come around the corner, I see this Type 64, I take aim and shoot, completely missing. And I'm like, well, that's one down. That 64 is going to move up on that hill and start spotting people out up there, but he's not going to give me any trouble. At least for not right now. And here's the enemy tiger. I shoot, once again missing completely, hitting the little mound of dirt between me and the tiger. I move forward, take aim once again, shooting and completely missing, hitting our friendly IS in the rear. So that's 3 shots I've completely missed. The tiger moves on forward, and I shoot and kill him. I think he was thinking, well, if I haven't died yet. Then tiger number 2 rolls up on the road, take aim, and go ahead and put him out of his misery. Now here is pretty interesting. KV3. This tank has a pretty good side armor and front armor. That turret is not so bouncy, but in order to really get a shot in, you have to be really accurate, which Russian tanks are not accurate. So I move forward and try to get a better shot on his side. That's when he realizes he needs to start backing up. Because the KV3s and KV4s, if you don't advance on them, they could sit there all day just taking shot after shot in the rear or in the sides. So don't let them have the opportunity just to play it easy. I ram the KV3 and try to get the killing shot in, but I completely bounce off of his front end. I take aim once again, but a friendly takes the kill. Good shot, tiger. So now I'm starting to move on forward. Realize that our base is starting to get compromised, but there's only 2 tanks that's heading for our base, and there's not much of a risk going on there. So I made it all the way across the map. So my main thing is to get up here to the base, and right here is another IS-6. I've think about going all the way up to the base, but then I'm like, well, I'm going to go ahead and cover my teammates here from this IS-6, because if he shoots at me, it's really sketchy if he's going to penetrate. And likewise, at that angle, I'm not able to penetrate him. He keeps his tank moving back and forth, so I don't have an easy shot on that side skirt, because the IS-6 has almost identical chassis design as the ST1. So if I can hit that little like like I guess you'd call them quarter panels, then it would almost always go in, especially since he was like tilted down like that. But now I shoot and I completely bounce. And the other tank right here over toward the east of me, he hasn't really made his advance around, so I take aim with high explosives and actually take him out. And now there's only 3 tanks left. They are over towards the base. The enemy tank destroyer, tier 9 tank destroyer, is all the way across the map over in G3 or G4. Now I'm not going to want to go all the way over there because I've already missed at least 5 shots, no damage shots that it doesn't really justify me to go all the way across the map just to extend the game just a little bit so somebody else can get some damage and me get nothing. So I'd rather get some cap points on this one. And that person actually says, "Get off the base," in a really mean and hateful way. I say no, because 1, you're not being too nice, and 2, I'm looking out for myself just like you're looking out for yourself. But anyways, that was the game on Abbey Night. Alright, so the next game I have for you is the KV2 Menacing on Fisherman's Bay. My loadout is kind of usual: large repair kit, large first aid kit, and the fuel. I get this loadout because if I get tracked in place, I'm able to repair and get on the move fairly quickly without having to worry about getting tracked in one place and constant damage. The repair kit, the first aid kit, is pretty decent when it comes to preventing your crew members being knocked out. But I try not to use those. I do have plenty of them, but they are kind of expensive. So in order to use one, I got to make sure it's going to pay off in the end. And the gas, the fuel, is really important on this kind of tank. It is a fairly agile tank once you get it upgraded, but it still kind of lacks in the speed. As you see right here, I'm able to keep up with the T-3485 simply because I'm using the premium fuel. Well, not premium fuel, but I guess you'd call it silver fuel. Anyways, I move on up. Right here I see a Panzer IV-S. I take aim and taking him out. It's almost a one-shot kill. It's fairly typical for a KV2, but still, it's really cool when that happens. Especially at that range as he was moving. So I go ahead and move on up to the village here, covering the 2 tank destroyers heading in. After I get up here to this corner, I see that there is a tank destroyer out in the middle of the field, which would be primed for catching one of my shots. So I take aim, he's backing off, and he stops before my shell could hit him. That was like a lucky maneuver there. So I move on up to try to put some pressure on him. But yet again, I do have some tanks coming up from the south of my position. I take aim for the Nashorn again, shoot, and he actually catches that one. I turn over to direct my attention to the Churchill and the KV that is heading up towards me. This KV-1, I thought he was going to be brave and try to rush me, but he just hangs back. I see that he starts being damaged, so I'm like, well, I need to move that. Because if somebody's doing damage on him, they can do damage on them, and they won't survive very long. The KV-1S does have a fairly long reload time if he's using the prime guns. So I move forward, I get proximity spotted, so he knows I'm coming around the corner. He's trying to angle off, he shoots me, he sets me on fire. No fire extinguisher, so I just have to let this thing burn out. I'm saying to myself, come on, don't burn out, don't blow up. So now I got 4 things taken out. I don't have a good radio range. My fuel tanks are taken out, and my ammunition. Because of my ammunition rack is being damaged, that puts this thing up to like a 30-second reload between each shot. So I really have to really plan out my shots if I'm going to survive any longer, especially since I'm at less than 5% health, probably about like 3% health. But anyways, I see this T-3485. I go ahead and head around the corner here. He does spot me by proximity. I take aim through this building. I see that he stops. He's taking aim on me, so I back off a little bit and take the shot. That's a pretty much like a slap in the face, being killed by a really vulnerable tank like that. And I'm actually looking at his tank there, and he's using the 122U, which is the first derp gun that you can get on the KV2, which high damage, but long reload time, kind of like the KV2. You don't really want to be alone by yourself when you're using one of those guns, because you can't really hold your own. Now right here, this tank seems like he's AFK or AFC. I was trying to get a good angle over the hill to try to shoot over the hill, but that didn't really work out. So at this point, I'm thinking to myself, well, this is pretty good. We only got 4 tanks left on the enemy team. I'm going to head on up here to the base and see what I can do. But this is not going to turn out too nice, I'll just say. Once again, I do aim for the wrong target, and well, I'm going to let you see what's going to happen. As I'm moving on forward, the 2 friendly tanks are in the circle and they don't see anybody at all. So I'm thinking, well, it should be pretty good. But then as soon as I get into the cap circle and start capping, I get spotted. I'm like, oh boy, because I know they're over there and at that building. So I'm keeping myself moving. The Hellcat and the Jagdpanzer miss me. I take aim for the Jagdpanzer, completely missing the shot, and the Hellcat takes me out. I was thinking maybe I should have shot for the Hellcat. Maybe I would have actually hit my target. But anyways, the tanks that was with me in the cap circle, they get knocked out as well. So there's only 3 against 2, and you know exactly where they're going to be at. Well, long story short here, they are going to kill them. We are going to win, and I think that was a pretty decent game, even though I spent most of the game at 1% health. Anyways, I'll let you watch the rest of this game here, and you should keep an eye on my channel for the next video to pop up. And when Xbox One version comes out, gets released, well, what kind of tanks would you like me to use, especially on the first day? So I'm going to try to get online and maybe even do a live stream on day 1. So like, subscribe, leave a comment, let me know. Catch you next time.